Now, the 90s in cinema was a sort of renaissance period, as the 80s, despite having tons of great films, is seen by many as a much safer, less daring time in cinema. I'm talking more about in the West. However, the 90s was much more different, and I would say the biggest thing that happened in the 90s was the increasing number of independent films being made. From the obvious Reservoir Dogs to the much more art house films such as Kids, or the really funny and great comedy Clerks. However, there is one that to me really showed a lot of talent and potential, and that is 1998's Buffalo 66.
You ready? Come on, what is that? What are you doing? You just made me waste $2. Get up.
The film follows Billy Brown, who after being released from prison due to making a bet on something he couldn't afford, was forced to own up to a crime he didn't commit, and was released. He kidnaps a young woman named Layla and forces her to pretend to be his wife.
Shut up, 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 shut up. Don't sit there or I'll take it right out of your face, alright?
Now, of course, that's not the most unique plot, however, that really doesn't matter, as the film has a lot going for it. First off, Vincent Gallo. Gallo plays the main character, Billy Brown, who is a self-destructive liar who really has no control of his life. Now, Gallo directed, wrote, starred, and did the music for the film, all of which he does terrifically. First off, the music of the film is really great, but is used quite sparingly and subtly. He mostly uses pre-existing music, like when Billy Brown's dad sings, which is Gallo's actual father singing, over the Nelson Riddle instrumental to the song Fools Rush In.
Fools rush in where angels fear to tread.
And probably one of the film's best scenes, wherein Layla, who seems to be in her own little world, tap dances to Moonchild by King Crimson. Now, Gallo himself is quite a controversial figure, from selling his sperm for $1 million to his hatred of almost everybody, him basically hating most of the cast, calling Christina Ricci an alcoholic and a puppet, and saying the reason the film didn't go to the Cannes Film Festival was because of Angelica Husson.
That was much more pure and simple than the film.
Is that quite an expensive thing to do? Because it was quite a low-budget flick.
It was a low-budget film. No, Angelica Houston, that piece of was the most expensive thing on Buffalo 66.
Nice.
Yeah.
And him basically hitting all the production team as well, mostly due to the fact they shot the film on 35mm reverse stock, which gives the film that grainy look, with this being what old American football games were shot on, and been very costly. Now, despite this, it really helps the film, as it does really have a unique look, and even when there is a colour in the film, it really stands out. From Gallo's red shoes to Christina Ricci's blue dress. Gallo, despite all this, has shown to be a very capable not just actor but leading man, which he is in the film. You really believe his performance, the anger, the nervousness, all fantastic from Gallo.
The knife is not pointed at you.
Yes, it pointed at me.
Honey.
Don't tell me you didn't point the knife at me.
I did not point the knife
Don't
at you.
point a knife at a person unless you want to
I
use
didn't
it.
point the knife at you. It was here on the table like
It
that.
wasn't.
And I believe the film is a sort of commentary on the kind of literally me type character, your Travis Bickle being the most obvious example. As despite what you think of Gallo, he does recognise this isn't a good person and plays him in that way, making him not likeable but very sympathetic. Gallo saying this about the film, quote, "In Buffalo 66, the idea of this was this extremely misguided victim who saw himself as a victim in the most unreasonable, unrealistic ways, that his life transforms the minute he takes responsibility for his own life," end quote. Next is the creativeness and style of the film. Now, despite a small budget, the film is very creative, from the way in which it's shot to the way in which flashbacks are shown, which is very well done. And then there's the big climax of the film, which the way it is shown is one of the most creative things I've ever seen in any independent film ever, in which he shoots someone and then shoots himself. However, it's shown in still frames, in which it kind of shows to the audience how silly and dumb it really is. Then there's the rest of the cast, which are all give really great performances, from the obvious Christina Ricci, who gives a very innocent, almost childlike performance, and her curiosity of Billy, the film even hinting to her liking Billy from the start when it's shown when he walks first through the dance studio, to when he explains why he kidnapped her, which she smells very subtly.
I've been backed up. Totally backed up. Whew. Anyway, I swear to God, I didn't mean to scare you.
Then there is, of course, the rest of the cast. Mickey Rourke, while a very short screen time, does leave an impact on the film, as to many people, this is when the film really starts to reveal what it's going for.
I mean, they're all the same, you know. Everybody's got an excuse. Anyway, this bookie got so sick that he just had to throw up. And the only way he could make himself feel better was to do bad things.
Angelica Houston and Ben Gazzara also give great unique performances, very funny as well. From Gazzara's boredom and his borderline creepiness towards Layla, to Houston's totally obliviousness to her son, like giving him chocolate donuts despite him being allergic to chocolate. Now the film's legacy and impact is a very strange one, as it can definitely be seen in influences on other films. Its biggest achievement was being quite big in Japan, and to this day is quite a big cult film, influencing lots of pieces of Japanese media, from films, anime to video games. As well as Gallo in Japan being seen as a sort of sex symbol. And the film signifies this was almost a wasted potential of Gallo, as his next film, Brown Bunny, while not ending his career, did damage it quite significantly, and he never really directed a film after that. And everything he appeared in after that, while not great, he has always been credited by most critics for having standout performances, even in mediocre to bad films. So, in conclusion, I believe this is one of the greatest independent films ever created and one of the most underrated films of the 90s. The acting top notch, the film's soundtrack and score very, very good, the style of the film is great and very, very unique, and just overall as a package, it's just a very great and unique film.